Part 4, The Reality of Knife and Knife Defense. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 3, please go check that out. There's a lot of context there. Please watch this whole video, as I'm going to go through quite a bit of information, and I very much so hope that you can absorb it all. There is a book that is required reading for my black belts. It is called Meditations on Violence by Sergeant Roy Miller. This book has so many good things in it, I cannot even tell you. Any myth that you have about fighting will be dispelled by this book. When I became a private security detail, I did training with family members who were law enforcement, and then later other members of law enforcement, and they helped open my eyes to what karate is and what karate is not. In fact, to this day, we have dispelled the entire American Kempo Karate gun curriculum because I would just never do any of those things with a firearm. Similar with our Kali training, I don't teach this because I believe that you should carry a weapon. That is your choice. I would never disparage anybody from carrying a weapon. However, we should know what we're talking about. Now, I teach it so that we can know that the motion that is possible with a knife, and so that we can know facts like 90-70. Another fact is that no matter where you go, there's at least one weapon there, and it's yours. Your weapon can be taken away from you, and it can be used against you. Blood, being one of the slipperiest substances known to man, be like fighting with baby oil all over you. If this comes out, you're probably getting cut, and it's a very high likelihood that it's fatal. Blood's just going to be everywhere. It will be extremely difficult to be fighting with this. You have a responsibility, both civilly, and you very much so could be looking at criminal charges like the man in the river that we talked about, who, while he felt was attacked and maintained it was self-defense, a jury found him guilty. Whether you choose to carry a weapon or not is your choice. Whether you choose to carry a knife or a firearm is your choice. You do still have to be able to deploy it. One of the reasons why I like to talk about this book, and I have it as required reading, is so much of this was the training that I had received when I was working with family members who were law enforcement. When I became a private security detail, I was smiling through the whole way of reading this, just because so much of what he talked about was exactly the training that I had gone through. Things like the OODA loop and the alert levels. I don't know this person. I'm not getting paid to say this, and if his book sales go up because of this video, that's wonderful, but I don't know him. It's just that good of a book. You really want to know these things. He covers so much. For us and the training that I do, I had taken the training that I worked with my family and their law enforcement background, as well as the training from Kali and American Kempo and Muay Thai, and much of the grappling, although the grappling portion is not online for what we do online. There is so many things that have to do with self-defense and do with fighting, and there's a lot of myths out there. There is a section of this book here on page 7 that is the Matrix of Martial Arts, Violence in Different Types. A lot of really good information, things that you want to know. The author himself, having been in law enforcement and have many different experiences, I had some similar experiences, but I've also had some different experiences. One of the differences is that when I was attacked for the first time and jumped, the things that I drilled, I used, and they really worked. Now, that was just my personal experience. I don't believe that that's going to work for everybody. Similar as when I was getting this training and became a private security detail, we went through arrest control, we went through KOGA, and we went through PPCT. Now, they told me right off the bat, PPCT is not something that is going to work on everybody, though. And it's not that it's disregarded, but it's taught right off the bat as this does not work on everybody. As it pertains to arrest control and KOGA and the things that they do there, it was very good information for people who have to detain people, have to arrest people. There is so much information out there as far as martial arts. There's so much information and training that you can go get from different areas. However, you do need to be cognizant and aware of any of these things and how they're taught and what you're being taught that they do and what they can and cannot do. That's super important. Some things we'll go through and we train for historical purposes. I try to announce those and say, we train this because this is how it was taught. However, this is something that you should know. Is not necessarily something we would do. The reason that we go through a lot of those things, because we help build your library of motion, but just also like building a house. You have to start with the foundation, subframe, frame, and build all the other components of the house. And with that, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you need to be cognizant of, but there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that is not legit. So you should be critical of your martial arts instructors, what they're teaching you, and make sure that you know if it's something that can be applied, and if it's something that could be applied but would be very difficult to pull off. Please be safe. And if you choose to carry a weapon, well, that's a personal choice. If you choose to carry a weapon, do so safely. Get training with that weapon. I thank you for your time.